Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel TechEdu for you. Today we are going with the introduction to JSPs. Actually, what is meant by JSP? JSP is nothing but the Java server pages. Let's get started our actual topic. Actually, JSP is based on the Java technology, guys, and this is the extension for the servlet technology. And we can say that JSP is the platform independent, extensible of the servlets are easily incorporated with the JSPs. Using these JSPs, we can write the server side programming. Mainly we can say that we can write the server side programming here. Actually, JSP is the Sun Microsystem specification for combining the Java with the HTML. Actually, they have gone for the specification of combining Java with the HTML to provide the dynamic content of the web pages. Mainly they go for the dynamic content for the web pages. When we create the dynamic content, JSPs are the more convenient to write than HTTP servlets, because they allow you to embed the Java code directly into our HTML pages, in contrast with the HTTP servlets, in which you can embed the HTML inside the Java code. This JSP is the part of Java 2 Enterprise Editions, that is nothing but the J2EE. And JSPs enables us to separate the dynamic content of the web page from its presentations too. And using the Java server-side modules, JSP can fit effortlessly into the framework of a web server with the minimum overhead. And we can say that it caters the JSP enables us to separate the dynamic content from the web page, I have said earlier, from web page from its presentations. And it caters to two different developers, that is nothing but the HTML developers who are responsible for the actually you can say that HTML developers who are responsible for the graphical design of the web page, and the Java developers who can handle the development of the software to create the dynamic content. Here we need to create the dynamic content. The use of this XML like tags and the Java like syntax in the JSP facilitate to building the web based applications. Here mostly we'll go with the web based application. JSP contains the standard markup language elements such as the HTML tags, just like the regular web pages. However, these JSP pages also contain the JSP elements that allows the server to insert the dynamic content in the page. And we can see that I am repeating once again, JSP page also contain the special JSP elements that allows the server to insert the dynamic content in the page. These JSP elements can be used for the variety of the purpose, such as the retrieving the information from the database. Mainly we can go with the purpose retrieving the information from the database, or to register the user preferences, retrieving the information from the database to retrieve the to register the user preferences, etc. And mainly when we go with the benefits of the JSP is the platform independent. JSP is a platform independent. The use of JSP adds the versatility to web application by enabling its execution on any computer. When you have written any code in a computer, in your PC, in your personal PC, that same code can be executed in the another PC which contains Java, Java software. And here the Java server pages are the mostly text files. So we can easily you easily take them and put those files in the another computer also, from one computer to one computer also. If you are working in the Windows system, that program can be executed in the Linux system too. The reasons to use the main reason to use the JSP is the multi-platform concept, and we can reuse the component by using the Java Beans, EJP, etc. And you can take one JSP file from one platform to another platform too. I'm clearly telling about the platform independence, enhanced performance. The compilation process in the JSP produces the faster results and the faster outputs, because when we compared with the servlets can execute, servlets can take the more time to download the cookies, etc. When we come here, JSPs internally, JSP file converts into the servlets, but it presents like a text file, HTML file. When we show for the others, when we are encounter with the web browser, when we see the code, that code can be a HTML code. Here the separation of logic from the display also. The use of the JSP permits HTML specific static content, and it's a mixture of, we can say that it's a mixture of HTML, Java and JSP to be placed in the separate files, but we have placed in a one file too. The ease of administration. The use of JSP eliminates the need of high-level technical expertise. You need to remember, it eliminates the use of JSP eliminates the need for the high-level content expertise. Ease of use. You can all the application can run on the major web servers on the operating systems. It's a platform independent. You can go with the multi-platform, and if you are written one JSP file, and it can be moved into the another platform too, and we can execute them in the another web server or the JSP servlet engine, etc. So these are the main benefits, main advantages of the JSPs. Next we are going with the computation. Actually, similar to the JSP, we have the ASP, PHP, JavaScript, etc. But when we go with the JavaScript is a client-side programming language. We have to remember, JavaScript is a client-side programming language. When we come with the JSP is the server-side programming language. We need to differentiate JSP and the JavaScript. The major difference between the JavaScript and the JSP is, JavaScript is a client-side programming language. When we go with the JSP, it's a server-side programming language, and you can build, both of them can be written in the HTML file. You can embed those codes in a HTML file. Both are similar to the Java. Both can be written in the Java itself. But the major difference between both the programming languages is, JavaScript is a client-side programming language. When we go with the JSP is a server-side programming language. Actually, JavaScript is used to create the dynamic content solely based on the client environment. We need to know about the JavaScript is a client environment. When we go with the JSPs build the dynamic content in the web browsers. It differentiates the dynamic content and HTML with the JavaScript to provide the dynamic content for the web pages, and you can create the dynamic content. And JSPs are more convenient to write the HTTP servlets and HTTP server-side programming. and it allows the server side programming. They allows the embedded Java code directly with our HTML pages, and we can't in contrast with the HTTP servlets, in which you can embed the HTML code inside the Java code. We need to know HTML code with the Java code. And when we go with the JSP versus PHP is similar to ASP. First we will discuss about the ASP. ASP is the active server pages. ASP is nothing but the active server pages. These active server pages are mainly used in the Microsoft ISS, nothing but the Internet Information Service for the Microsoft. These natively ASP natively supports within the Microsoft ISS or the personal web browsers, but this ASP supports to select the server using the third-party product. When we go with the JSP support the most popular web servers like the Apache, Netscape, Microsoft IIS2, and can be easily embedded with the JSP. And most of the web servers can support the JSP. And this is the platform independence. When we can say JSP is a platform independent and runs on all the Java enabled platforms too. When we come with active server pages, is fully supported under the Windows only. Supported on the Windows server, Windows only, and you can deploy on the other platforms is a cumbersome due to Win32 based component model, guys. So we won't go with the ASPs more. And when we come with the component model, and most probably it relies on the reusable cross-platform components like the Java Beans, Enterprise Java Beans, and custom tags can be used in the JSPs. When we come with the active server pages, it uses the Win2 based component model. Win2 based component model. Its Java server pages can use the Java programming or the JavaScripts too. But when we go with the ASPs, when we come with the client side, JSPs can use the JavaScripts, and the active server pages supports the VB scripts, JScript for scripting the tags. And when JSPs are the more security model. And when we go with the active server pages, with it can work with the Windows NT security architecture, so it works in the Windows only, so it won't go for specific security purposes and all. And in context of the ASP, which is written as the ASP specific language, we can say that. And JSPs access the JDBC, but here when we go with the active server pages, they uses the active data object for the data access. JSPs have the customized tag library. It can't use the, when we come with the ASPs can't use the customized tag libraries. So PHP is similar to the ASP, and PHP is it's not a client-side programming language. It is a server-side programming language. It is developed in the C language, and similar to ASP and JSP. We can say that PHP is the similar to ASP and JSP to certain extent with the basic HTML knowledge. However, the VB script programmers can write the ASP applications, and a Java programmer can write the JSP application. Whereas we come to the PHP, it requires to learn the entirely new language. We need to learn the PHP language. It has the some syntax. It has the some not similar syntaxes and all. It's not similar to the Java. I mean, overall, that terminologies are not related to the Java. Some of them, some features are related to the Java. I'm not opposing totally. It is different from the Java. Next, we are going with the JSP characteristic, guys. These are the JSP, how the JSP contrasts with the other programming languages. We have seen that one. Now we are going with the JSP characteristics. JSP is an extension of the Java servlet technology. We can say that JSP, Java Server Pages, is an extension of Java Servlet technology. It uses the Java objects to receive the web requests and subsequently builds and send the back appropriate reasons to the browser. Actually, here what happens here means the Java objects receives the web requests. Whatever the request given from the client is receive Java objects use it to receive those requests and builds that requests, and they build those requests and send back the appropriate responses to the browsers. They execute the queries of the whatever the queries of the client, and they returns to the client. They return the response to the client. Whatever the client has requested to the server, that data can be returned to the returned to the client once again. The compilation of the JSP pages generates the servlet. Internally, Java server pages converted into the servlets. Those servlets can be run in an environment, and finally we can get the output. The compilation of the JSP pages generates a servlet that incorporate all the servlet functionalities. Why? Because it's an extension of the servlet technologies. When we compared with the servlet is a Java class that provides the specific server side service only. But when we go with the JSP, it's a server side. We can write the full-fledged server side programming when compared to the servlets. And it is hard to write the HTML code in the servlets, but we can easily write the JSPs in the HTML code. Java pages are converted to the servlets, so actually can do the same thing as the old servlets only. So we are going with the servlets, but why we are going with the servlets? We have some problems. We have some problems in the servlets. What are those problems? Servlet development requires the high level of understanding of the many concepts, because servlet has a lots of concepts, so you need to know about the high level understanding of the many concepts. And one more thing, it too much overhead in the development cycle, and it limits built in the productivity mechanisms, etc. We can say clunky syntaxes like that. I mean, complex syntaxes when compared to the other technologies, other server side technologies, servlet technologies in the Java also. So this is true that both the servlets and Java pages have the many features in common, can be used for the serving the web dynamic contents, but most probably we can go with the JSP, since the JSP only deals with the textual data. We have to know that most probably we'll go with the JSP. JSP only deals with the textual data. You will have to continue use of the servlets with communicating with the applets and applications, but using the JSP to develop the typical web application rely upon the dynamic content. We'll go with the dynamic content here. So we are going with the JSPs. This is the request responsible model of the JSP. User's computer. Request to the web server. Web server checks to ensure all the JSPs first. Whatever the request has came, If it is no, what kind of servlet? If it is previous servlet, previous request, then it reloads the servlet. If it is not the previous servlet, it is the fresh servlet, servlet generator and recompilation can be done and the response can be given. If it is the previous servlet, it goes with the servlet reloader and gives the response to the servlet. This is the request response model of the JSP, guys. Already we have said that JSP file is when compared, it generates the servlet file, and we also said that JSP also aims to relieve the programmers from coding for servlets by auto generation of the servlet. We need not to go with the high level of understanding of the many concepts here, and Java file is much easier to deploy because the JSP engine performs the recompilation of the Java code automatically. And when we come with the servlets and the JSP shares the common features such as the platform independent creation of the web driven applications, server side programming capabilities, etc. And this HTML file is used for the static content and Java file is for the dynamic content. And the change made to the any file requires the recompilation of the corresponding servlet. So JSP allows Java code to embed it directly into the web page, guys. Up to now I am setting this one. I am telling this one, JSP allows Java code to be embedded directly into the HTML page by using some special tag. The HTML content and Java content can also be placed in the separate files or within a same file too. And how the compilation process can be done here. The compilation of the JSP page builds a request response cycle with two phases, that is nothing but the translation phase and request processing phase. When the client requests a JSP page, the server side requests to be JSP engine, and the JSP container compiles the corresponding translating unit. Then the JSP engine automatically generates a servlet. This results in the creation of the class file for the JSPs. So we are going with the response is generated according to the request specifications. Then the servlet then send back response to the corresponding request received. These are the steps we need to go with this translation phase and request phase. This is the compilation process which exists in the JSPs. The client requests the JSP container, the server with a JSP container. It reads first of all the file can be read by the server which contains the JSP container, and then that can be compiled, generate the hello servlet.java. Previously it is the JSP file. JSP file can be read and generates the servlet file. Servlet file can be compiled. Servlet class can be servlet class dot class file is done here. After that execute the after the execution, the output can be go through the output can go with the JSP container, server with the JSP container. Finally whatever the requested output can be go to the client here. Whatever the request, whatever the JSP file, whatever the text file can be go with the server request, the server executes those data and finally output given to the client. Over here server reads the JSP file and generates the servlet file. Servlet file can be compiled over here, and after compilation of the servlet file, it generates the class file. After executing the class file, we'll get the output. Those output can be given to the server with the JSP container. These server given the output, final output to the client. And when we go with the JSP file and converting of the JSP file to the servlet file, this is the translation phase. After that servlet file, after compilation of the servlet file, will that file creates the class file. This class file is the request processing phase. After executing this class file only, we will get the output over there. How we can install any software? If we want two processes, we have the two processes. One is we have the backup software, or we can download directly from the site. Download and the implementation of the JDK SDK tools, and we'll set the after installation of the software, we'll set the path. And or else we can go with the environmental variables. Directly we can set the path, or we can set the path in the command prompt. After that, the number of servers that supports the server pages and servlet development. And after that, for JDBC technology, we'll go with the Apache Tomcat. Apache Tomcat is also a open source software. We can download those softwares too. After that, we can after the setup of the server, after the setup of the server, and again databases, again Java, all the softwares are set in your computer, and the environmental variables are set in your after setting the environment path variables and the environmental variables in your computer, we can successfully start the web applications. And those web applications included the Tomcat with the available visiting of the http://localhost:8080/. This is the local host. Actually, our computer is the local host which is used to execute our pages. First of all, we need up to now we have known what is meant by JSP. Now we are going to create a JSP page. A JSP page is very similar to the HTML document, except for the addition of some tags containing the Java code. Here we have some Java code. Some tags contains the Java code. Some tags contains the we have executing queries. If we go with the JDBC, we can go with the executing. We are going to execute the queries too. This is the syntax for the scriptlet, guys. Less than followed by the percentage. Here is the code fragment. Percentage followed by the greater than. This is the scriptlet syntax, and this is, we can say that this is the tag. Within this scriptlet we can go with the code, or we can for this scriptlet we have the equivalent XML code, that is nothing but the JSP :scriptlet code fragmentation /JSP :scriptlet. This is as similar to the HTML code, because XML is also a markup language, extended markup language. We can write the XML code over here. This is the first JSP code. HTML head, we'll go with the title hello world. We are closing the head tag. Now we are opening the body tag hello world. Break. This is the Java code. This is the main Java code, JSP code. Less than, this is the scriptlet code. Less than, first followed by the percentage, out.println of IP address is plus request dot get remote address. This gives us the IP address. remote IP address of the computer. We are closing the tag and we are closing the HTML tag. Output would be printed like this: hello world, your IP address is so and so, can be printed there. And when we go with the contents of the JSP page, we can categorize the contents of the JSP page as follows. HTML components consist of the HTML tag. JSP components consist of the JSP tags. And JSP tags can also be broadly classified into following groups. Those are nothing but the translation time tags, comment tags, directives, request time tags, scripting elements, actions, etc. And comments that are used to provide the information about the code snippets. Directives, those conveys the overall information about the JSP pages. And we have the request time tags too. It goes with the request time. When we go with the scriptlets, the scripting elements such as the scriptlets, expressions, declaration that consist of the Java code snippets. These actions that are used to influence the runtime behavior of a Java. These are mostly used to influence the runtime behavior of a Java. How we can execute the code of a JSP? We can copy the code of the page with the acknowledgement message in the text file and save it as the main.jsp, and copy the main.jsp in the appropriate folder. Example, Catalina_home. This is your home page /webapp/root c:/tomcat8/webapp/root. In this way we can copy the folder. Start the Apache Tomcat server. Start your web browser if it is not ready, if it is not already running. Then in the address area of the local browser, type http://localhost:8080/main.jsp. The output of your JSP file is displayed over there. In this way you can execute the code. Guys, we are going with the declarations and all. This is the syntax for the declarations. If you need to declare an element, we can declare like this: less than %, exclamatory mark. The declarations can be done here. This is the example. This is the scriptlet tag. We have started the scriptlet tag followed by the exclamatory mark and int I is equal to 0. We can separate each and every declaration by the semicolon. Scriptlet tag is closed. Again we have opened another scriptlet tag, int a, b, c. I have given the 3 examples over here. In this way we can go with the JSP declarations. This is the declaration of an object. Circle is a class, A is an object. We have created the object here. When we go with to write the expressions over here, the expression can be write like this: less than % equal to expression. Today's date is less than % equal to new java.util.date dot to local string. This displays the today's date. The output can be shown like this: today's date colon. What is the today's date? That can be displayed over there. This is the directory attributes. Directory attributes can be declared like this: less than %@ directory space attribute is equal to value. We can say that less than % page. This defines the page dependent attributes such as the scripting languages, error pages, buffering requirements, etc. This is used to include a header files. It includes a file during the translation phase. This is used to tag a library, tag the custom actions used in the page. Next we are going with the decision making statements. This is used for the if else example, if of. Already we have said that this is the Java code. Always the Java code can be written within the percentages, guys. In the middle we have written the tags. The Java codes can be written in the scriptlets. After that we can execute those statements. We have the operators like the postfix, unary, multiplicative operators, additive operators, and shift operators, relational operators, equality operators, bitwise operators, etc. Postfix operators like the braces, dot operator, unary operators like the plus plus, minus minus, multiplicative operators like star, asterisk, division, modular division, additives like the plus, minus, shift like the left shift, right shift, and relational operators like the less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, equality like equal to, not equal to, bitwise and bitwise or bitwise XOR, logical and logical or, conditional operators, assignment operators, etc. These can be supported in the JSP2 as similar to the Java. And when we go with the decision statements like the switch case also supported here. We can write the switch case within the scriptlet tag. Already we have discussed earlier the whatever the switch, whatever the thing we have entered here, that can be matches with the case labels. That label, if it is matched, then the output is displayed. If not matched, the default can be printed over here. Loops also similarly works here. When we go with the loops, for loop for of, initialization, conditional statement, and whatever the updation statements can be placed over here. This is the example for the loop statements. Here this is the for loop statement. Font size is equal to 1, font size less than or equal to 3, font size plus plus. We can increment the font size here. And this is the while loop. See clearly, we have written the Java code within the scriptlets, and whatever the HTML tags can be written in the HTML tags only. HTML code we have written in the HTML tags only. In this way, we can declare the loops. This is another example for the while loop. Previously we have seen the for loop. This is example for the while loop. Now we are going with the request object. Request object is the instance of the JavaX servlet and javax.servlet.http servlet request object. Each time a client requests a page, JSP engine creates the new object to that request, and this object provides the get HTTP header information including the form data, cookies, HTTP methods, etc. And these methods can be example methods. Some of the request object methods, those are nothing but the cookie, get cookie. It returns the array containing of the all cookie objects that client sent with this request, and the enumeration to get the attribute names. HTTP get session. This is get session returns the current session associated with this request, or if the request doesn't have the session, creates one. Object space get attribute of the string name. This returns the value of the named attributes as a object, or null if the no object of the given name is exist. The string space get parameter of the string name, which returns the value of the request parameters as the string, or the if it is a string it returns, if it is not string it doesn't returns. This is the requests code can be written like this: HTML header, HTTP header request example. Within the body we have written this, and this is the actual Java code. Enumeration header names is equal to request.get header names. Whatever the header names we use it there, that can be written. While header names that has more, we have more elements, then string param name is equal to header names dot next element. We can get those header names. String param value is equal to request dot get header name of param value, and whatever the request can be given to this value, and outer println of those values. These values can be printed over there. We can close the table, body, HTML, etc. In this way we can go with the request. And how the server can give the responses. When the web server responds to the HTTP request, the response typically consists of the status lines, some responsible headers, blank lines, and the documents, etc. A typical response look like the HTTP/1.1 space 200 OK. Likewise, we can get the values. This is the example header values. The server response can be the response object is an instance of the JavaX servlets.http servlet response object, and whatever the request we are going here, that can be compulsory given the response to as a response object, and defines the interfaces that deals with the creative new headers. Guys, let us continue this topic in the next section. Thank you guys by supporting